Dog groomers, let's look at the subject of pricing before we go back to work in 2026. Let's have a think about how we can perhaps approach our pricing a little bit differently before the new year starts. Or if you're watching this later in 2026, it's never too late to have a look. Okay. There's lots of advice on pricing in our industry. I'm a firm believer that the more education you have over any subject, the more confident you feel, the more you'll approach it yourself with a little bit more confidence and clarity. So that's what I'm here to do today. I'm not going to give you all the ins and outs because that is just for the members of the Grooming Goddess Academy, but I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of some things we discussed in the Academy and things that might help you as you go forward in 2026. And I'm going to discuss 3 different pricing models. The dynamic pricing model, the cost plus pricing model, and the value-based pricing model. And I'm going to go through each of these. Now, pricing models, don't worry, it's just the way businesses price their services or products. So let's not get too overwhelmed by the terminology so far. This is dead easy to follow, I promise you. I'm going to go through these 3. There are dozens in real life, but these are the 3 that kind of are often mentioned in our industry, the ones that you might not even know the names, but they're often used in our industry. And I'm going to go through these and tell you the pros and cons of each and how it's best to approach your prices in 2026. So the dynamic pricing model, that states that as demand for anything grows, the price should therefore grow as well. So as groomers get fully booked, they get busy, they're closing the books, that pen basically advises, well, you need to put your prices up. And yes, it means definitely if you're a busy groomer, you've got loads of customers and you're fully booked, of course you have loads of leeway, you can up your prices. But dynamic pricing, you need to know when to stop, because otherwise it's not a business strategy, it's a game. If you're putting your prices up every single time you're busy, when do you stop? It's like twist, twist, twist. When do you stick? When do you go bust? Because there's a part of the dynamic pricing model that isn't often mentioned, that we often ignore. Excuse my nails, they all need doing. And that's the fact that when demand lowers, you should lower your prices too. We're often cherry picking the part where demand goes up, prices go up, and we're forgetting the part that makes the business sense. In business school, basically, what it means is as demand goes up, prices go up. But as demand goes down, you lower your prices to make sure your business doesn't completely flop. It's a balancing act. So you need to know how far you can do this before you go bust, and you have to start lowering prices. So as dog groomers who rely on repeat clientele, yes, of course, there are always new dogs in town, always new puppies. There is more dogs than we often think. There are new dogs coming in. There will always be more customers. Not endless supply of customers, but always more customers. But how far can you push your prices before you start to lose your really good, reliable customers? Because as a dog groomer, as well as a business coach, I see a value in repeat, loyal clients. I don't want to lose them all. I don't want to push myself so far because I'm so busy that the ones that come on 6-week schedules and brush the dogs and are never late and love the salon and I love grooming the dogs, I don't want to lose them. They have a value to me that is worth more than money because I want to still enjoy my job. What I don't want to be doing is constantly onboarding new clients, going through the stress of handing out T's and C's, the first appointment, second appointment of like, is their fluffy the same as my fluffy? Is their short the same as my short? All of that. It's fine every now and again, but I don't want a constant churn of new customers. I don't think any of us do as dog groomers. We all know the joy of dogs that know us well, behave on the table, the customers know the drill, they brush the dogs. There's a joy in that cannot be denied. And that's why pricing does not stand alone. Pricing as a subject in any business does not stand alone. There is something to be said for enjoyment of the job and customer loyalty. Therefore, what I don't do in the Grooming Goddess Academy is think of it as a subject in a vacuum. I think of it as part of a bigger picture of a successful dog grooming business. And that involves financial stability, but it also involves enjoying your job and going in the salon every single day. Okay. So dynamic pricing, yes, it can work, but we have to remember it is a strategy that includes lowering prices when demand lowers. And as a dog groomer, that ain't something I'm going to be doing. I don't discount for anybody. Once my prices are at a certain height, they're never going to drop below that. They're only ever going to go higher or stay. So if you're going for that method, okay, but remember when to stick, is all I'm saying. Don't bust. Don't keep going so far that you bust. Also, putting them up 3, 4, 5 times a year as dog groomers, really? Seriously? There is something called customer stability. 3, 4, 5 times a year as a carpenter, a plumber, a pet sitter, people that have new customers on a churn who are seeing people new all year round, not a problem. Put them up every single week if you want, I don't care, it doesn't matter, because you're not getting the same people. We as dog groomers, we see the same people every 4 to 6 weeks, every 6 to 8 weeks, whatever. They're gonna notice. So if you're putting your prices up every, say 4 times a year, and they're coming every 4 to 6 weeks, they're coming, 7 or 8 times a year, you're putting the prices up every 2 to 3 grooms. That's going to undermine customer stability eventually, and you can't say it's not, because it is. Whereas plumbers and carpenters, they're seeing people all year round, they're fitting that bathroom, doing that U-bend, whatever. They can put their price up as much as they want because their customers are never going to blooming know, because it's not the same customers. We have the same customers on a repeat basis. We can't do that. It's why even pet sitters or other pet industries that have new clients, boarding kennels, whatever, you have new clients throughout the year. You're not having clients every 6 weeks on a churn. They can do it because it's not as noticeable. It is more noticeable when you have repeat clients, which, as we've already discussed, has a value to it. There is a value to repeat clients. Therefore, I do think pricing for the dog grooming industry is quite individual. We can't just take generic pricing advice, plonk it on our industry and expect it to work in the real world. And when it's not working, ignore those that say it's not working for them. I embrace the fact that as a dog groomer, there's a certain way of doing things. Okay, right. The cost plus pricing model, that was dynamic pricing. Cost plus pricing model. This is the basic pricing model that as a business owner, you're gonna need to know. If you don't know it already, you probably do, but not the name. It's where you work out everything your business needs financially to run on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, everything. You work out what that is. You work out everything you need as an individual to live your life, pay your mortgage, your rent, whatever, pay your bills, go on holiday once a year, pay towards a pension, have a rainy day fund, all of it. Work out what tax that will be. Is that still going to be enough for you? Do you need to up it a bit more? Whatever it is. This is something we go deep into with the Grooming Goddess Academy. We literally help you work out all your tax, your national insurance contributions. Is that enough salary for you? Do you need to up it? What tax is that? We help you go in and out of this in depth. And then what you do is you get a big figure from that, and we help you reverse engineer that into your prices. We take into account the weeks where you have holidays. We take into account Christmas. We take into account the actual work you're doing. We don't just assume you're working 52 weeks a year and then go, ooh, it's not working out because you're not working those weeks. We take the nitty gritty of running a dog grooming business into account. That's the cost plus pricing model. That is the basic model for any business. That is what you need to get super comfortable with. And that is even something that brand new groomers should be doing from day one. You shouldn't be paying yourself less than minimum wage just because you're a brand new dog groomer. Of course, year one, you're not going to earn much because you've had a massive outlay on costs, on equipment, on training. Okay. But it doesn't mean you should be paying yourself less than minimum wage. You should be able to step into our industry and pay yourself at least minimum wage. And if you're an experienced dog groomer and you're thinking you're not quite there yet, if you haven't got a pension, if you're an experienced dog groomer, or I'm saying experienced, if you're more than a year into it, you haven't got a pension fund going, you haven't got savings going, you're not paying yourself a consistent monthly salary, or maybe you're paying yourself as and when what's left in the business bank account, and come August when you're off on holiday or Christmas, you're paying yourself less. Something's not right there. That is something that we need to address. And again, that is something we make sure in the academy, we make sure that no matter what your holiday weeks are, if you're having 2 weeks off in August, for example, we help you calculate your prices so that you're still going to pull the same amount from your business that month, so that you're not having to scrimp and save on certain months that you're not in the salon. That's the cost plus pricing model. That is the basic pricing model that you need to get comfortable with, and that we help you get comfortable with in months 1 and 2 of the Grooming Goddess Academy. Or if you're an annual member, you just get it all, whatever. But that is cost plus pricing, and we talk you through it in depth, or I do, because this is what I studied at university. I can help you, no problem on that, okay? And if you ever get stuck, we have the community. You come in there, you ask your questions, or you email me, and we help you get down with that. We help you show you how to get it from your prices, from your dogs, everything. Then the next pricing model. This is where we move on. So we've decided this one doesn't really work. We've decided this one is the basic. This is their second one. This is where we move on. This is where, when this is a piece of cake, when this is just a given in your business is running sustainably and never in the red, and you get a good salary. Value-based pricing. This is where, as your experience grows, as the experience of the customers grows, as you're getting better at customer service, as you're just offering just a much more kind of polished service. Because let's face it, we all need to find our feet. Even as good dog groomers, it's often kind of a learning curve with how to talk to customers and how to approach certain situations. We're all human. But as that grows, we then eke this up. We start putting our price up. So your cost plus pricing is like a baseline. Your value-based pricing is where you start increasing it. So yeah, your salary is going to increase because then you're paying yourself more. That will incentivize you to do more webinars, learn more skills. It will show your customers that higher prices indicate better skills. Not a bad thing. And it means that you have an incentive to keep going in our industry, because this is burnout. This is pricing strategies. So learning a strategy for pricing rather than just finger in the air, I'm skint this month, how much I put my prices up by, but never actually seeing that translate right down to your salary and your own bank balance. That's not a pricing strategy. That's just kind of a guessing game. So what I want to do is give you a bit of education about strategies and how you can do that. And basically value-based pricing is the next step after cost plus. So in the academy, after the pricing modules, we teach you about good branding, good marketing, how to educate your clients, how to teach them about brushing and coat care, starting basically to establish you as someone on a pedestal that knows her stuff. And therefore your value increases in their eyes, your prices can increase. That's value-based pricing. That is what you move on to once your cost plus pricing is established. But if you're someone who thinks you're not even here yet, it's okay. That's what we can help you with. That's exactly what we teach. We teach you to get this established, because then you feel so much better when you pay yourself a good salary, and then you can start upping yourself, upping your value. And if you think right now, well, I'm not worth whatever this is, and my customers wouldn't pay that, again, by having better branding, better marketing, better customer communication, better kind of boundaries and a customer experience, all that will increase your value so that you can get here. Because what's happening right now in the dog grooming industry is that we're forgetting this exists and we're starting here. We're starting here. And the problem is we're starting here is that when you're starting here as a dog groomer, your value is down here and you don't feel like you're worth anything because your grooms are basic, okay, and your experience is basic, okay. So you're charging buttons. And the problem with charging buttons is that you will soon run out of energy and motivation to do anything, and you will burn out. And it's why many groomers burn out within about year 3 to 5. Because year 1, they accept that, yeah, year 1's always going to cost a lot of money, bit of a loss, that's fine. Year 2, they keep telling themselves it'll work out soon, I'll start seeing more money in bank account, but they're never actually doing it. By year 3, they're starting to think of other jobs. And that's because no one ever teaches you basic business strategies, basic pricing education. This ain't hard stuff. This is stuff I can teach all day long, inside, outside, and backwards. It's really easy, and it can just break down into, you start with cost plus pricing, what you need to get to pay bills. You move on to value-based pricing, and then that is enhanced by everything else you do in your business. And that basically gives you a bigger picture business that makes sense to your customers. So if any of these numbers scare you, that's okay, because the rest of your business will support them. Your better branding will support those prices, all of those kind of things. So that is kind of a bit of a quick how-to on pricing. We go into this in depth in the Grooming Goddess Academy. As I say, months 1 and 2 as a monthly member, it's all about pricing. We help you with the maths, we help you with the strategy, we help you with how to communicate pricing increases to your customers, how to do them, when to do them, the wording to put in letters, how to inform customers. We literally go into the nitty-gritty of pricing, how to kind of make sure you start paying yourself a salary, all of these things. Okay, so I shall leave that there. My video just paused then, sorry, so I was like, what's going on? I shall leave that there. If you want any more details of the Grooming Goddess Academy, you'll find them below. Bye.